Well, joining me now is an IndyCar veteran, since retired, but still known as the Thrill from West Hill. He excited all of us with his performances in IndyCar, and then he treated us with a return engagement for the last 2 years, driving in the SRX Series. Paul Tracy is in the house. PT, you made it to the podium this year. You're gaining on it in those stock cars.
Well, at your track too. So you told me last year how to get around there, and I didn't listen to you very good. And I made it to the podium this year. So I was pretty happy with that night because last year that was probably my worst track, and then to come out of there with a podium, I was pretty pleased. Overall, couple good nights, couple bad nights, couple average nights. Got hit a lot. I didn't spin anybody out, but they sure liked spinning me out, so that wasn't super enjoyable. But I mean, it is what it is what it is, right?
Does it satisfy your appetite to get behind the wheel in a competitive posture?
Well, I got to keep reminding myself that everybody keeps saying this is a TV show; it's not a racing series. But I certainly don't, Jack, like leaving the track after having a bad night. That's for
For
sure. And
sure. Yeah.
I don't think anybody does. Like, and the further back in the line you get with 12 guys, the rougher it gets out there. Like when you're at the front, you've got track position. Things kind of go back and forth pretty fair. The further back you get, like anything, and I would probably imagine the NASCAR drivers say the same thing. When you get back, in the back, guys drive. They're already, not in a good mood because they're not running good. So that's, they just get aggressive and get mad and start pushing and shoving. And that's kind of how it was in SRX this year.
All right, let's switch gears because you have been following, like all IndyCar fans, this brouhaha between Alex Palou, who, by the way, is the defending IndyCar champion and part of Chip Ganassi Racing, who in early July notified everybody that he was not going to return for personal reasons. Just maybe an hour or so after Chip Ganassi had also notified the world that they were going to take up the option and that Palou would return in 2023. Well, we've been following the saga, and lo and behold, this week they upped the ante. Papers have been filed, lawsuits have been registered in Marion County in Indiana, and Ganassi is suing Alex Palou. What do you make of all this craziness, Tracy?
Well, it's a lot more than a brouhaha. I'll tell you that. I mean,
Indeed,
the
yeah.
plot has certainly thickened big time yesterday with the announcement of this lawsuit by Chip Ganassi, and I don't know the details of what the lawsuit is about, but I'm speculating here with you, and we're just talking off the cusp. Obviously, I would imagine negotiations have been going back and forth between the two of where are we going, what are we doing, and they must not have come to an agreement that Alex is going to stay. He must be adamant, I'm not staying, and Chip's like, maybe yeah you are, or and now there's a lawsuit. So that's all I can kind of speculate that is what's going on. Because if Chip said to him, look, you're under contract, I want you to keep driving for me, I'll give you a race winning car, a reasonable guy would probably say, okay, well, I know you're going to give me a race winning car because history shows Chip Ganassi provides race drivers with race winning cars. But there's obviously something going on there where there's pushback from Palou not wanting to drive there, and now Chip is, Chip better than I do. He's dug his feet in, and that's the guy you don't want digging your feet in.
Indeed. And when you were with me and Tony Kanam, my partner on Brick by Brick, you brought up, I think, a very salient point that Roger Yasukawa, who, by the way, discovered this young man while he was racing in Japan and then, charted his course forward to an IndyCar championship, was released. And that relationship ended after the Indy 500. And there's a new group that pretty much negotiated this new deal with Team McLaren. Paul, how much do you think, that was an effort on the management team to show that they could go one step better than Yasukawa as far as Palou's career is concerned?
Certainly somebody has not read the contract correctly, whether that's Palou's management or or it's Chip Ganassi hasn't read his contract correctly. But again, history. You look back at history. I would say Chip is a pretty shrewd businessman, and I don't think he doesn't cross all the T's and dot all the I's. I don't think.
I honestly know that he does dot all those I's and cross all those T's. This isn't his first rodeo. Continuing our conversation here with Paul Tracy. So before we at least say we'll stay tuned to Alex Palou, in your opinion, as an outsider, just like me, just you and I talking about this, what do you think the percentages are that either A, Palou buys out Ganassi, or B, ends up being forced, because this litigation continues, to sit on the sidelines for part or for all of 2023?
I think there's a possibility of both of those things could either way could happen. Now the question mark is what is the monetary value that Chip puts on his contract, because he's got sponsors involved, and he's got the title sponsor of the series involved as Alex Palou's sponsor.
Which, as I understand, is also in negotiation right now for renewal. So that NTT sponsorship, probably augments the argument that Ganassi is making of the value of that property that is Alex Palou.
Well, and it also could cause damages.
Yes.
If Alex Palou is to leave, it could cause damages to that contract as well. So, I mean, I don't know. We don't know all the ins and outs and the numbers, but certainly it's not going to be a couple $100,000. We're talking millions of dollars for him to buy himself out of this contract with Chip, right? They're not squabbling over, a couple $100,000 here, right? So this is big time money. So I'm not sure whether Palou personally has that kind of money to pay to get out of a contract. That would either take somebody, another sponsor or a McLaren or somebody buying that out. Now, does that come off of offsetting his potential salary? Because hiring a guy for, let's say, as a round number, they're going to pay him $2 million, and now they've got to buy out his contract for $1, $2, $3 million. Is he worth $5?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think any of us do. I don't think any of us do.
I don't think there's anybody in IndyCar right now with the market of drivers that are out there. There's nobody making that kind of money. So, we'll see what happens. But the other option is, if he can't get himself out of the contract and Chip legally wins this thing, he could potentially put him on the sidelines and sink his career.
Yeah,
I don't think Chip's that kind of a guy. But I think Chip's that kind of a guy. If you continue to keep raising your sword and go to battle with him, he's going to fight back.
Well,
right?
and let's acknowledge the fact that it is well documented there is no love between Zach Brown at McLaren and Chip Ganassi at CGR, and hell hath no fury like a Dago that is pissed off. And Ganassi does end his name in a vowel, Tracy. Hey, before I let you go, taking a look at the first half and maybe a couple of more races of this 2022 IndyCar campaign, I'm beginning to sense that there was a point in time where guys like you could have an extended career because the ladder system wasn't feeding or flooding the marketplace. Now we've got a built-in ladder system with a lot of youngsters with incredible talent and a European desire that's opened back up for, Formula 3, Formula 2 drivers to flood the market as well. And they come with golden briefcases. Are we looking at a point where maybe some established veterans find themselves forced into an early retirement because of this youth movement?
Well, they could, and also these kids that are coming out of Indy Lights,
Yeah.
they're also really fast and quick. I mean, the two most notable ones recently are Pato Award and Colton Herta, and they're right up at the front of the championship now, and contending for race wins every single week. And it was only a couple years ago they were in Indy Lights. So these new guys coming up now, we've got Kirkwood, who's got a lot of hype behind him. Malukas has proven to be pretty darn quick in Dale Coyne's car. There's more kids coming up through it. So, the guys are hanging around now that are in their 40s, the sands of time, sooner or later they run out, right?
Hey, listen, it's always a pleasure. We need to chat more often. So very happy that you finally took my damn advice. It was good to see you master that. And when SRX season 3 returns, now you understand it. You put a wheel to somebody. It's not, it's not IndyCar, and I expect more podiums out of you, my friend.
Well, for sure. I hope we can come back to your track next year. I'm actively now out trying to, this thing is a great deal. The TV ratings are great. It's the second most watched motorsport in the United States, but they need to find some sponsorship to keep the wheels turning for next year, and they got to start working on it now, not in December or January. So I'm helping out with that. We're hoping to get Camus back on board for next year. I think they really enjoyed what they did with us, and we'll keep working on getting more sponsorship for the series and bring in some more new drivers for next year and have a good time.
Sounds good. Hey, PT, always a pleasure. Have fun.
All right. Thanks, Jack.